What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who's currently the unified WBC WBA super middleweight world champion. He has a fight coming up this Saturday against Anothe, a longtime sparring partner of his, who happens to be the WBC super middleweight mandatory challenge contender. Okay, so with that said, obviously Canelo Alvarez, he held the final press conference to promote the fight with Anothe coming up this Saturday night. And with that said, obviously Canelo Alvarez was asked about the future. As in the sport of boxing, we like instant gratification. We like to know about the future before you even finish with the present. With that stated, Canelo Alvarez, he was asked about undefeated two-division world champion who is currently the WBC reigning middleweight world champion superstar boxer Jermall Lions Only Charlo. And Saul Canelo Alvarez, you can see immediately he was annoyed by it. He had a sarcastic smirk on his face when asked about Jermall Charlo, and he simply let it be known that this is a fight that has to happen. He's tired of people saying that he's avoiding this fight with Jermall Charlo. He says that he believes, obviously, that he could beat Jermall Charlo. In a previous interview a week ago, he stated that he is in his absolute prime and he believes he'll knock out Jermall Charlo within 4 to 5 rounds. So today, when asked about the fight with Jermall Charlo and the possibility, he stated that this is a fight that absolutely has to happen. But he had a sarcastic smirk on his face, and he stated that he's just simply annoyed with the fact that people continue to say he's avoiding fighters. He stated that after he beats Jermall Charlo, there's going to be somebody else that comes out the woodworks, and they're going to be saying that he's avoiding them as well. But he said that that's a fight that needs to happen. Obviously, he was asked about his future because his schedule for 2021 is already pretty much mapped out. He stated that after this fight Saturday, should he get past Anothe, he's looking to fight Billy Joe Saunders on the zone as well in a unification bout, because he says he's looking to collect all the belts, become the first undisputed super middleweight world champion, and be the first Mexican to do so as well. So he stated that he's looking to fight Billy Joe Saunders. It's either going to be May 1st or May 8th, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Cinco de Mayo falls on a Wednesday this year. So obviously the first, he could celebrate the first, or he could celebrate it the weekend after. So Canelo Alvarez stated that, it's going to be around that time, the 1st or the 8th, with Billy Joe Saunders, undefeated two-division world champion, who currently is the WBO super middleweight world champion, British superstar boxer. And he stated that obviously he wants to have something set in stone immediately before the Billy Joe Saunders fight or immediately after, to face off against undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion superstar boxer Caleb Plant. He stated in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, which falls on, ironically, September 11th of this year. We know what September 11th represents, especially for the United States and especially for New York. Canelo Alvarez, that fight with Caleb Plant may just very well be in Madison Square Garden, because that's a huge attraction, okay? He was asked about his promotional because he has 2-fight deal with the Zone and Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn. That is, going to set to run out after the fight with Billy Joe Saunders. So obviously Billy Joe Saunders, who signed to Matchroom with Eddie Hearn, that's a Matchroom fighter, that's a unification bout. Caleb Plant is with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, with founder and advisor Al Heyman. So with that stated, obviously there's a lot of chatter that it's a possibility. Canelo Alvarez is a free agent, right? Fight by fight. Now, he did a 2-fight deal because he wants to unify the division. So he signed with the Zone and Matchroom so he can have the fight with Billy Joe Saunders. Caleb Plant's on the other side with the PBC. So he's more than likely going to do a 1-fight deal to fight, or a 2-fight deal possibly to fight Caleb Plant, and then maybe in the future fight Jermall Charlo. He did state, Canelo Alvarez, that he may look to fight 4 times this year, okay? Caleb Plant fight, the Anothe fight this Saturday. Then Billy Joe Saunders in May. Caleb Plant, should he be victorious against Billy Joe Saunders, Anothe, Caleb Plant in September. And then Canelo said he may look to get another fight in before the year is up, maybe in December, as he did this year. And that could possibly be against Jermall Charlo. But he definitely said that's a fight that needs to happen. And in the mix of doing so, he also brought up 2-time super middleweight undefeated world champion superstar boxer Mexican superstar boxer David Benavidez. He said that that's another fight that needs to happen because one of those two guys he wants to get in before 2021 is up, because he says that there's a lot of chatter coming from both. There's a lot of chatter that from the boxing media, fans and pundits that believe that he's essentially avoiding those fights. So he says that both of those fights are going to happen, and he says he wants to get one of the two before this year is up. And he stated that, he could see in the future that after he beats both of them or one of them, there's going to be somebody else new that rises up and says that he's avoiding them. He said there's always going to be somebody saying that he's avoiding them, okay? We know Canelo Alvarez, 54 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws on his resume, 36 wins by way of knockout. He's 30 years of age. He stands at 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. Obviously, he's fighting Anothe coming up. He's always at a huge size disadvantage as he's built very compact, so he fights in the bigger weight classes. So, with that said, Canelo Alvarez, is going to be at a disadvantage in size, but these guys, are considered, top tier guys. And not all Canelo Alvarez, like this fight with Anothe, is not considered a top tier fighter, okay? So, Jermall Charlo, 31 wins, 22 wins by way of knockout, no losses, no draws on his resume, stands at 6 feet tall, 73.5-inch arm reach. So he will have, a 3-inch height advantage and a 4-inch arm reach advantage over Canelo Alvarez. David Benavidez is 6'3" with a 77-inch arm reach. So that's a completely different story. And he's only 25 years of age, 24, 25. So he will have, a 5-inch height advantage over Canelo Alvarez. No, he will have a 7-inch height advantage over Canelo Alvarez, and he will have a 7-inch arm reach advantage over Canelo Alvarez. And he's younger, okay? So Jermall Charlo is 30 years of age as Canelo Alvarez is. So last time we saw Jermall Charlo was September 26th against Sergey Derevyanchenko. That was the biggest fight of his career. He headlined the pay-per-view card, and he dominated the fight, got a unanimous decision victory. So with that said, Canelo Alvarez, he seems completely, annoyed by all the chatter of, him not taking on the fights with Jermall Charlo, which are warranted, because he was at 154 pounds, the junior middleweight division, and he chose not to fight Jermall Charlo. He had the opportunity, and then when he was at 160, Jermall Charlo became his WBC mandatory challenger, and he chose to be franchised and elevated, so he didn't have to honor the mandatory. Jermall Charlo was elevated to the full WBC champion, and then we know the rest is history. Canelo went on to go challenge Sergey Kovalev at 175. Coming back down to 168. He's dibbling and dabbing in multiple divisions. So with that said, he just seemed to be completely annoyed with all the Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez talk, and you can see it's visibly getting to him and annoying him. And he says that now he has to make these fights. Even his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, he stated that, those are very good fights. They're very good fighters. He believes they'll continue to win. And he sees both of those fights happening in 2022. Canelo Alvarez obviously is looking to clean out the division 168 pounds. If he beats Billy Joe Saunders, he would then be the WBO, WBC, WBA world champion. And he would just need the IBF belt, which Caleb Plant represents, okay? So that's the fight he's looking to make happen in September. If he beat Caleb Plant, he would be undisputed at that point in time. The question then remains is he going to go back up to 175? Because he's the WBO 175-pound champion, and there's some serious fights up at 175. Arthur Beterbiev, who's unified up at 175, and you have Dimitri Bivol, who's also at 175, okay? So, there's definitely a plethora of big fights for, Canelo Alvarez in the future. What direction he chooses to go in, is yet to be seen. But, there's not a lack of competition. Arthur Beterbiev holds the WBC and the IBF titles at 175. Dimitri Bivol holds the WBA at 175. And Canelo holds the WBO at 175 after he beat Sergey Kovalev. So, Jermall Charlo holds the WBC, at middleweight, and there's talks that he could come up to 168. Canelo Alvarez, he definitely stated that, he's not going down to 160. So we have to see what's next for Jermall Charlo, because Jermall Charlo hasn't fought since September. That's a very long time to be out the ring inactive. So maybe he gets a fight at 168 because Canelo said the fight between himself and Jermall Charlo is going to have to take place at 168. So maybe I thought the perfect scenario would be for Jermall Charlo to face off against Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs, who now campaigns at 168. He was a middleweight at one point in time that moved up to 168. So it just makes sense for him to challenge, Danny Jacobs, get acclimated to the division. There's a storyline, there's history there, and then, possibly face Canelo Alvarez at the end of the year. But let's see how this unfolds and plays out. That's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.